Oh, well, hello, and welcome to Tony Gama-Lobo Got Really Old. Now, I'm your host, Tony's younger brother, and I can tell you from experience, firsthand experience, that growing up as Tony's younger brother had its ups and its downs. For instance, Tony used to like to play this game with me he thought was great fun, and he would put out his hand like this, and he would say, "Is this the real thing or the decoy?" And I would be forced to make a choice. Now, any choice I made was wrong. If I said it's the real thing, he would smack me in my face. If I said it was a decoy, he would smack me in my face. So either way, I got smacked in the face. It was a great time for all of us, really. But, living with Tony wasn't all about getting smacked in the face. There were lots of other things too. Now, this episode is going to be dedicated to Tony Gama-Lobo and in all of his various forms, young cute Tony, poofy haired Tony, poofier haired Tony, Tony, not so cute anymore, Tony on the decline. All of it's going to be here. So let's get this thing rolling. Now, what we're going to start with is we're going to get a look at this guy. And here he is, Tony Gama-Lobo. Wait, what is that? Okay, my producer is telling me that this is not, okay, it's a poodle. All right, sometimes I can get the two confused, and you can see why. It's really the poofy hair, but that's on me. Sorry. Here he is. We all know this guy, Tony Gama-Lobo, right? Now, so we're going to be talking about Tony Gama-Lobo and all of the things that make him, so special to all of us. So let's get this thing started with some cute pictures. Well, some of those were kind of cute. Well, let's see if they get better. Welcome back. Well, so as not to overwhelm you with images of Tony, I thought we'd take a quick break and segue into another segment. Now, this one is for all of you out there who've ever said to yourselves, where the heck did that Tony guy come from anyway? Well, for you, I've got a special treat. I've got two experts, Joan Louise Gama-Lobo and Alfredo Antonio Gama-Lobo, and they're going to tell you how it happened.
Happy birthday.
Oops.
To
Oh no.
well, I guess we'll spare you the rest.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But we have a long tale to tell about our number one that's about to hit the big 5-0.
Oh, from your very, very, very old parents.
Yes, very, very old parents.
Right.
And just to start, in the beginning, Dad was at Boeing in Seattle, and he got very disillusioned, and they were laying people off. And so he would go downtown to the library and start looking for jobs.
Yeah, the Los Angeles Times.
Oh, the Los Angeles Times.
Yeah.
And he finally found a job that was suitable for him. He flew into Los Alamos, and he decided to take the job. Long ways away.
And then I waited like 3 or 4 months without hearing anything.
Oh.
Because they were doing a security check on me. And all of a sudden, 3 or 4 months later, I get a job offer.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess Dad made the big decision that we were going to move and into a very small town. Okay. So prior to moving, probably a month before we moved, I started feeling poor. I had pains in my stomach, and I just had to keep moving and moving. And it's time to clean up our apartment so we can get out of there. And I spent most of the time on the floor in my sleeping bag because I was in so much pain. I went to the doctor. The doctor had no idea what was wrong with me. So here I had to leave my parents and go on the long drive to Los Alamos. And I assume they were kind of worried about me. So about our second or third night, we stayed with an old friend of mine, stayed overnight in Phoenix with an old friend of mine. And I just told her, I'm just not feeling well. She says, are you sure you're not pregnant? I said, pregnant? Heavens, no, I'm not pregnant. So we continued, got to Los Alamos, and I decided I better see another doctor. And I just knew something bad was going to happen to me. Saw this nice old doctor, probably younger than me now, but old doctor. He examined me, and then he came back in and he says, young lady, you're pregnant. And I thought, oh my God, I'm pregnant? I am just, it was just crazy. It was crazy. And so that was our little 50-year-old boy.
Except it was, 7 or 8 months later, right?
Right. Yeah. So that was, I didn't mind having pains when I knew what it was, the problem. So I went to we were staying in an awful apartment, and I went to a pay phone to call my mom to tell her not to worry, that I was not on the brink of death with my pains, but I was going to have a nice little surprise in a few months. So
that's the story.
That's the story. And so we're in Los Alamos, and it's getting close to the time Dad is doing a lot of work at night. He goes in after dinner and goes back and works. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting at the table while he's gone, probably at 11 o'clock at night, and something broke and I had liquid coming down out of me. And I thought, oh my God, this is it. This is it. And that was it. Had to call Dad, called the doctor.
And I guess he said he didn't want you to come in right away, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we were sitting at home, and it was like 10 o'clock at night. And then finally at like 2 o'clock in the morning, we headed out for the hospital. And the streets were totally bare except that it was snowing. So we had to crawl along all the way to the hospital.
That's for sure. Got to the hospital way too soon, unfortunately. So
what time did he arrive? Like at noon the next day?
1 o'clock, I think.
1 o'clock,
Yeah.
okay.
So it was a bouncing baby boy, and it was very exciting. Number one.
Okay.
Very exciting.
Have a very happy birthday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, have a happy birthday. Yes, have a very happy birthday.
Now we've got a special couple coming to us all the way from the little town of Beaver, Pennsylvania, better known as the home of Rebecca May Gama-Lobo. And here they are.
Hey, Tony, happy number 50.
Happy birthday, Tony, and remember, always check the time before you enter state parks at night. Happy birthday.
All right. Now, these next two, they really don't need any introduction from me. They are perhaps Tony Gama-Lobo's biggest fans, biggest supporters, and one could argue, love him the most in the entire world. It is none other than Becky May Gama-Lobo and Owen Gama-Lobo.
Hi, Tony. Here we are, getting ready for bed.
Yes, we are.
And no surprise, Owen has been texting you about waivers for fantasy. Anyway, we're going to, let's do a quick before bed and before more texting of you for waivers. What, Owen, is your favorite memory or favorite thing about Daddy?
Well, there's too many things to pick just one. As with many things, I'd say that football, hockey, board games, maybe the dad jokes are good like 1% of the time.
Okay.
Other things,
Etc.
etc.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot. There's a lot. Let's see. Because I have known Daddy for a long time. I have to stop for a second. No, I can stop for a second. Anyway, there like you're saying, there's too many things to count. I love all our road trips. Favorite memory, of course, is 8898. The wedding and the company. And obviously 5/21/09. But there's too much to fit in here. So anyway, we love you. I love you. Happy birthday. And we'll party it up soon. Okay. Say bye.
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 And now for two fresh faces on the comedy scene. I'm bringing you Juniper and Reed Gama-Lobo. Now, there's a lot of buzz these days about these two, with what some people are calling a strange mixture of insult comedy and kind of surrealist, what are they talking about comedy? Well, here you go. You'll see it for yourself. Hey, Reed.
What?
Tell us about how old Tony is.
Well, he's super old. Well, he's so old that he doesn't know where his car is. and his car's like in the parking lot. Like seriously. Who doesn't know where the car is even though it's in the parking lot?
What else, Reed?
And why does he think his refrigerator's running? I don't know why. It's weird. I think it's too old. Wait, Tony? Do you think your car ran away today? Tony? Did you? Your teeth? They're probably all moldy because you haven't been brushing them because you forgot. Like, who forgets to brush their teeth? Like, seriously. Who does? You're so old, you need a cane. We need a cane so you can get to your car without having to fall over rising.
And now I got for you the big guy, 6'4" above sea level, and perhaps Tony's biggest nemesis, competitor. That's right, Michael Allen Gama-Lobo.
3 things about annoyed Tony. And Tone, you know how much I love doing these videos. I will try to do this one on just 1 or 2 takes. Okay, here we go. Number one, you know when Tony is getting annoyed or already there when he says, I just don't understand. What is that? It doesn't make, I just don't understand. You know you've got a little bit of annoyed Tony going on. Number two, young Tony, if you weren't leading the way or directing, he would be very annoyed to be following anybody else, especially since no one else knew where they were going. Number three, and this is the most important, and a rule we've heard 1,000 times, but it relates to young Tony and to old Tony. Never, ever, ever order the wrong Subway sandwich. I must have been 11 or 12, a bit awkward, growing, probably as tall as you, I don't know. And it came time for the tide to go out, the mud's there, we're at Mud Bay, probably at the cabin at that point, and comes time to do the race on the mud. And off we go, and of course you just like, sliding along, and I probably make it 2 feet, then sink right in. There was a few giggles from the background from Mom and Dad, I believe. Probably reaffirmed the thought that there was some pretty big defeat going on. Anyway, I was thinking of that story here as I look over the bay in Mauritius, thinking about my big brother turning 50. It's been a lot of years of keeping up and probably for my better good. And I was just thinking one area that I think you'll always win is you'll always have me on age and I have no rush to keep up. Happy birthday.
Okay, a quick fact check on that last one. I did a little bit of research and it turns out Mauritius is an actual place. For anyone else out there who's oh my.
Right.
Oh, we're back.
Oh.
Well, I've got quite a treat for you all today, you viewers out there. I've got none other than Kirsten Michelle, too, who's one of my favorite people in the world. Well, there's the kids, too, right? And today I wanted to ask you some questions about Tony Gama-Lobo.
Tony, yes.
Yeah,
I
you
know
remember
that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been my brother-in-law for a very long time.
And he's my brother.
That's right.
Yeah. So, you've played a lot of board games against that guy over the years, right?
I sure have.
Me too. Can you tell us a little bit about your experiences? I mean, do you remember the first game you ever played against him?
I do. I believe it was Scrabble when we were down in San Diego when I first met him. And
what was that like?
I mean, it was tough. I'm into my Scrabble games, but he was a fierce competitor.
Did he beat you?
As he is in all games.
Did he end up winning that one?
That one, I'm not so sure, but I suspect that I won because I do know I had a bingo.
Yes. Okay.
So, yeah, word games are always fun. I like checking in with Tony on his daily Wordle score. Usually
you guys have that connection for sure.
We do.
Any other games that stick out to you that you've played with Tony over the years?
So many games, but I would say Settlers of Catan is up there. And Ticket to Ride is one I will always remember Tony with. Because Tony always explains games really well. Any game you want to play, if you ever want to learn a new game, you can count on Tony to teach you the rules of that new game in a clear and concise way.
You sure can.
You really can. And and then you learn all kinds of good strategy too from Tony. Like in Ticket to Ride, you got to get that little piece from Atlanta to Nashville so no one else can get it.
Is that strategy or is that just being mean? Sometimes it's hard to tell when you're playing with Tony. Is he trying just to beat you down or is he just using some good strategy? There's a fine line there, I'd say.
There's a fine line. Yep.
Yeah.
But it sure does feel good to beat him.
And you would know a lot about that, wouldn't you?
I know a thing or two.
Yeah, me not quite as much, but we'll get there.
Yep. Well, looking forward to many more years of exciting game playing.
Indeed. Thank you, Kirsten.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Oh my goodness. This crew that you're about to see has become synonymous with summer summertime fun. I'm talking that hardcore summertime fun where it's just a crazy kid free for all. Who knows where they are? I don't know. Maybe they're all outside under that tree, that apple tree, doing something crazy, making a fort. Maybe they're up in the laurel bushes. Hey, maybe they're playing Super Smash Brothers for hours and hours and hours, and they're all Kirby, and they're all trying to play against Morgan, and it's complete insanity. But it's so much fun, and they're always so much fun. And they have something they want to say to Uncle Tony. Here it is.
Happy birthday, Uncle Tony. Some of my favorite memories with you are when we go bowling every time we come. Sadly, we did not get to do it when we came this year, but I still really love going bowling.
Nice. Happy 50th, Tony, from one old lady to another old guy. I hope you have a great time and that the 50s are as awesome as all your other decades have been, and wish you lots of joy and happiness on your 50th day and forever after that. My absolute favorite memory of Tony Gama-Lobo was one of my first years in Seattle. Mike and I might have not even been married yet, but it was on Christmas and somebody had pulled out some old Atari games to plug into the main living room TV. And it was a tangle of cords absolutely everywhere. And I remember coming out and finding Tony and Mike and JJ in sweatpants in a tangle of all of these Atari cords, asleep on the living room floor from having just basically snacked and video gamed themselves into a coma. And I thought it was so cool because it was like I'd finally found the house where I belong, because I clearly am a lot worse. Bye guys, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Tony. My favorite memories is playing capture the tag with you.
Capture the
Flag.
flag. Where did you do that?
In Grammy and Grandpa's house.
At Grammy and Grandpa's house? And was Tony chasing you the whole time?
Yes.
Did he ever capture the flag?
I don't remember. Near my leg, too.
But he helped you? Or he chased you?
Chasing me.
And was it fun?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Hello, Tony. Happy birthday. Hope you have a great day. My favorite memories of you are just playing general games in Seattle, and they've been really fun, and getting a break from school in South Africa.
Yeah.
I was told to put these on for some reason.
2, 3. Happy birthday to you. 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 Happy birthday, Uncle Tony. Happy birthday to you. Bye. Happy birthday.
If you were in the Gama-Lobo household and these two were in town, you knew something really fun was about to happen. A backpacking trip, maybe some skiing, ping pong? You guessed it, it's the Ogrins. And they think Tony has gotten really old. But let's hear it in their words.
Happy birthday, Tony.
Happy birthday, Tony.
From Hoquiam, Washington. Here's your uncle and your aunt for 50 years now.
Half a century. That's pretty damn old if you ask me.
Yeah, it is, because I think of you as still a kid, and yet someone 50 is not a kid. Definitely not a kid.
Closer to an old man than a kid.
Yeah, well, this is middle age, so that means you get to be to 100, hopefully.
And Lynn is 3/4 of a century, and I'm almost there.
Yeah.
So you are, I guess, just a kid.
I wanted to share a memory with you. I think you were around 2 or 3 when your parents brought you to Tacoma to visit with Grammy and what did they call your dad? I forget.
Grandpa, I guess.
I guess Grandpa. I never thought about that. And I brought you a gift, and you were just the cutest little boy in the world. Oh my gosh, with your curly blonde hair and big smile. And so I brought you a pop-up puppet. I don't know if you remember this, but I have always remembered it. And I wanted to find the same thing for my grandson. And I looked and looked and looked, and we found this in France when we were in France. And I remember when I showed this to you and I brought it up really slowly, and you were just so excited and your eyes were so big and you had such a great smile, and it was like he was real. You just were convinced that he was real, and you anyway reacted really well, and I remember enjoying that so much. And that was a fun memory I have when you were just a little guy. So I got this for Alistair, and I did the same thing with him, and he was very excited about it, but I couldn't give it to him because he was a little rough on it, so I'm just keeping it here at the house for when he visits. But these are really fun.
I think he'd rip it apart if he got it right now.
That's his personality. But anyway, I don't know if you remember having this, but it came from your Aunt Lynn a long time ago. It was red, I remember. I don't think it was yellow and orange, but I can't remember. Anyway, a birthday memory.
And my memory, Tony, is of all our great times together with you and your brothers, growing up on our hikes and our bike rides, and just being together at your house and playing ping pong, and especially beating you all at ping pong with one hand in my pocket. But it's not about me, it's about you, and how impressed we are for what you've accomplished in your life with your wonderful wife and your amazing son and your great house and your great job. You've just done so well.
True. You have a wonderful family. You have a lot to be proud of. Hopefully we'll get to see you a little more often.
And hope that you have a great birthday, November 15th, as I remember.
Yes. We're going to California on the 18th for Jace's first Monterey Symphony concert. So we'll be a little closer to you at that time.
And hope you get a lot of fun videos from your friends and family. So we better sing happy birthday.
Oh no, I don't know if that's a good idea.
It is. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tony. Happy birthday to you. Bye.
Bye.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Okay, and here is Aunt Donna from New York wishing Tony well.
Hi, Tony. Greetings from Appalachian, New York. I'm really happy to be a part of the group wishing you well for your birthday, and I wish you a year full of good health, good friends, lots of love, and great adventures. Happy birthday, Tony.
Okay, and now from the Windy City, it's Sue.
Hi, Tony. Happy birthday. Hope as you're celebrating, you're looking for a lovely condo in a wonderful shade of blue with a large freezer to keep your bus fare in. Hope you have the best year ever when able to celebrate with family and friends as much as possible. Happy birthday.
More pictures, you say? Well, why not, right? Let's just indulge in Tony today. Here you go. This episode is sadly about to come to an end. But before it does, this host wanted to say something about his big brother, Tony. Tony, the thing that makes you maybe the most special to me is the fact that you show you care by calling, by reaching out, by being there for me. And I feel like if I ever have anything going on in my life, I know you're there, and that means so much to me. Thank you, and have a birthday.